kindly share the broadcast. Urgent message. Family or followers of Brian Mundubile, share the message. Quickly, share the message. I'm going to put Honorable Brian Mundubile on the phone immediately. Tell each other, alert, quickly. Honorable Brian Mundubile, good evening.
Good evening to you, Guillaume. Good evening.
Good evening. Please share from the time we understand that you left the African Union Observer Commission.
Yes, that should have been around 17 hours. We left the meeting at Pamosi with the SADC, observer missions.
Who were in the entourage with you?
I was with Honorable Mutotwe Kafwaya, Honorable George Sanga, Bishop Trevor Mwamba. We were with Tasila's husband, Patrick Mwansa. Of course, I was with my bodyguard, Richard Banda. I was with my driver, Mutambo, and a few other security people. Shortly after we got home along Kudu Road in Kabulonga, the security came to tell me that our yard in Roma, where we normally park our equipment, was raided by some soldiers. Some soldiers had surrounded the yard in Roma. So I was trying to make some phone calls to get some people to go there and wonder why the soldiers should surround our yard. Then the bodyguard came back and said, as a matter of fact, even this place has been surrounded. They had some commandos who were outside. And before long, these people accessed the yard, breaking everything along the way. Of course, we locked the doors, trying to secure ourselves. We made a few phone calls. We hope that, some people would show up.
Yes.
They began to break down windows and doors until they accessed the house. Now, in the process, Honorable Kafwaya, myself and my wife were in the master bedroom. We had locked away the kids in the other room. So these guys had already, I don't know how many people were shot at. I don't know who was shot at. But somehow they managed to break the door to the master bedroom. And we had locked ourselves in the walk-in wardrobe. So the moment they got in, two guys came in. And when they saw Kafwaya sitting in a corner, really, and immediately opened fire. Kafwaya was shot at twice.
Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya was shot at twice.
Oh, he was shot at twice in my presence. My wife was watching. Then they turned to where I was because I had, slid beneath the table. They actually fired twice. If you were to see me now, I wouldn't want to go live.
Yes.
Some of the debris that was coming from the bullet that hit the wall is actually in my hair now. So my wife was standing in the wardrobe, sprung out. She couldn't hold it. She thought I'd actually been hit. She's the one that saved me. And at that point, they began to drag us out. All of us were dragged out. It took a while because we were asked to crawl. We're being stepped on like animals, like common criminals. I didn't fear to address them. I told them, I said, I have committed no crime. The only crime I've committed is to present myself for the leadership of this country, to save the poor Zambians, including yourselves that are. So each time I say that, they hit me, and I said, I'll not stop talking, because the Lord that I worship should enter your hearts for you to see that what you're doing is wrong. So anyway, the long and the short of it is, after an hour's ordeal, they eventually got us in vehicles. My wife and the three kids and my niece were put behind the pickup. I was put and guarded in one of the vehicles.
Honorable Mundubile, just mention who was your children. Just mention the names. It's very important for all of us because we are recording this and we are live.
Yes. So besides my wife, there was Malumbo, Tulumbe, and Natasha, and our niece Winnie. And there was my nephew, Francis Mulenga, in addition to the other names that I mentioned. So we were all taken.
Yes.
I can account for my daughters, my niece and my wife now. I can't account for George Sanga. I don't know whether Mtoto Kafwaya is alive. I can't account for Richard Banda, my bodyguard, and my driver, Mutambo, and the rest of them. I cannot account for them. Yeah, so
And
it's
Patrick
really sad.
Mwansa.
But I saw him alive as at the time they were putting us in vehicles and driving away. That I can confirm. I saw that he was being put to the car. He was alive. The others, I didn't see them, so I can't account for them.
Thank you. Yeah, proceed.
So it's very difficult to know what these soldiers wanted. For us, as far as we're concerned, it was a clear assassination. There was nothing more. We don't know what held them back. Maybe because I constantly talked about the God that I worship. Yeah, but there's nothing less. That was a pure assassination. Because what have we done? What have we done? Okay? I mean, why the military? Why the military? I mean, not less than 50, 60 military officers. Up to now,
Honorable Mundubile, just a minute. Where were you taken? I want the story to how you are where you are, because we need to send people maybe to where you are. But first, kindly tell us how you moved.
We were taken to service headquarters. For some reason, they couldn't find the keys to the room they wanted to take us to. Then later we're driven to the command center. It was at the command center that one officer asked me where I wanted to go. I said to him, look, you just got me out of the house and you've broken down everything in that house. The kids are traumatized. Take me to Ibex Hill. So we debated and later agreed on where they should drop us. And that's how they dropped us. So I later gave him a list of George Sanga and the rest of them to say, look, there's similar circumstance. The fact that you let me go, you have no reason to hold those people. So that, but we don't know where they are, is a fact.
I received an urgent call from Jackson Mutioka's wife and Chewe. Were they with you? These are some of your bodyguards.
Jackson Mutioka?
And Mr. Chewe. No.
Yes, they were with us. They may have been with us, but I haven't seen them.
Okay. But Banda was with you. Was Banda shot, as you have seen, because you are saying the Honorable Mtotokafa was shot twice?
Yeah. Jackson, I think, I saw Jackson. He's remained at the command center. Okay. I didn't see Chewe. Jackson I saw he's remained at the command center. Yeah. So, Comrade Mwamba, it's very sad. This is not the Zambia that people yearn for. I didn't ever think we could get to this.
And who has been released? Is Mrs. Mundubile with you? Are the twins, are your kids with you? Who has been released to your knowledge?
No, so far it's just me and my family. I don't know about the other people, and I should not know, what really, why they were holding us. So I don't even know who's still being held.
We saw a Facebook post that stated that did you make that Facebook post? A lot of people were very concerned about that Facebook post.
Which one?
There's a Facebook post that talked about that you were being held by the military and that you were all fine. But from what you've described, we could have lost some lives. You were tortured. You were brutally beaten. You were made to crawl.
Yes, somebody has to make a statement as to how many people have been killed. There was a lot of gunfire in that yard. The neighbors around there can attest to that. If you go there now, there's still 3 military land cruisers at that house. I went back. I said, because we just dropped somewhere. Of course, we wouldn't give details for security reasons.
Don't.
We needed to access a vehicle. We needed to access one of the vehicles. So we went there. Of course, heavily guarded. They led us into the bedroom. My goodness, everything has been ransacked. You wouldn't want to.
They've ransacked your house literally, and probably any valuables taken.
Of course, there was money. I would not want to mention value. A lot of money that has been picked from there. They've taken advantage of the phones. A lot of the number of phones that belong to my daughters, my wives. Everything is gone. Okay. Yeah, the valuables, you know, the ladies with jewelry and everything is gone. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So before I let you go for your own safety and for us to coordinate this off the camera, you issued a very powerful statement this morning, probably that has attracted this fierce response from the state, that, you know, you demanded that election results be announced, and you stated that you had won elections. You just speak to that and to the millions of Zambians that voted for you.
Well, first of all, Emmanuel, people should not misunderstand power of voter tabulation. Okay? If one speaks to their PVT, they are not declaring themselves winner. They are not declaring themselves winner. They are simply saying, according to our power of voter tabulation, we are winning this election. And then very quickly, I proceeded to say, we call upon the ECZ to announce the results so that we can verify. Okay? That was the position. And, so if that statement, excited people, it's most unfortunate, because you have your own tabulation. Yes. Your tabulation can be inaccurate, it can be accurate. So when you discover that the official results from the ECZ are different from the ones that you have, then you engage, because you have an issue. You are saying to the ECZ, according to the polling stations and according to these Gen 20s, this is our tally. How are you finding a different number? And you begin to go through. That's the whole purpose. Yes.
Okay. Before again I let you go, how do you see this process, and how confident are you that from what you stated, what do you see the outcome of these elections? It's so sad that we're already fearing for Honorable Mutotwe Kafaya's life, who was shot, and you said you saw it and he was bleeding profusely. Just kindly speak to that before I let you go and speak to you privately.
No, well, what I want to say, first of all, I want to call for peace and calm. Amid all this confusion that is going, I want to call for peace and calm. Our resolve is that we don't destroy our own country. Zambia has to survive. Zambian, as a republic, has got to survive. And every Zambian must take responsibility to ensure that order is restored. We know that we have observer missions. We had a very fruitful meetings with them today. We've done a number of engagements with other foreign stakeholders on this particular matter. And one of the things that they guided was, look, in the position that I am, I have to be very careful with what I say.
Correct.
Okay, and so that people do not misunderstand it. For now, I can call for peace and calm. We already aired our concerns with the observer missions. One of the concerns that we had was that before ECZ vacated the area position, we wanted them to continue counting and announcing these votes. That was our position. Secondly, we had made a very earnest appeal to say there is no need for the army to be involved in this particular process. The army was involved at Mulungushi. They're involved on the street. Just now, I was picked by a group of army soldiers. Okay? So it's unprecedented. Our elections are managed by integral security. The police manage these particular electoral processes. We wonder why now they must involve the army. Why is the army involved? So the presence of the army, the presence of the armored vehicles for the army are escalating the tension in most of these areas. And we are saying, for the sake of Zambia, can the army be withdrawn from the compounds? Can they be withdrawn from Mulungushi so that the regular police is deployed to take care of the situation? EM, if you remember, 2021 was a very violent election. Nothing compared to this election. And the measures that people would want to put in place now, there is no situation to merit that, unfortunately. There is no situation to merit the deployment of these officers in these particular areas. Yeah, so to our supporters, you have made your position known. You have voted. Your vote has been counted. And since your vote has been counted, it was counted and announced somewhere and recorded somewhere. So for now, we'll wait upon the ECZ to ensure that the votes are announced as was recorded in the beginning, and that they make sure they do this speedily so that they do not excite the people who may be anxious at this stage.
Thank you very much. The whole country has been, the anxieties were so high. We're all praying for you. We are all very gripped with sadness and fear for you. We are glad that you are okay. We pray for those that were with you.
I don't know if I'm okay, Mano. I had to call you because we don't know how the night will end.
True.
Before we walk to safety, we looked for your number. A good Samaritan gave us your number. I'm sure you know what we've been through the past 20 minutes to get your number.
Yes.
We needed the world to know because we don't even know whether we'll be able to drive 1 kilometer away from where we are. Exactly. So that's the reason why we called. We want the Zambian people to know the truth. And the truth is that we were raided. We were almost killed. I don't know how many people have been killed from the group that I was with.
Yeah, thank you. We thank God for the gift of life. We thank God and we pray for you, Zambians. Pray for Brian Mundubile and his wife and his family. They've been released. They've been released to a place that is still not safe. And the gruesome matters they've gone through. Literally, this is an assassination plot. And there are people that are feared dead in his entourage. And so you will allow me to speak to Brian Mundubile and coordinate with the others that need to reach him urgently. That was joining us. You've heard just the harrowing details regarding the assassination attempt on Honorable Brian Mundubile and the number of soldiers that raided his house. He's fearing for the life of Mutotwe Kafwaya, and he says he's also very worried about George Sanga. Those two names kept on coming out through the broadcast. He's been released with his wife and family, but the people around him, the political people, kindly do not call now because I'm calling Honorable Makebi Zulu, the running mate, and I want him to connect. So please don't call. Just don't call. You are disturbing a lot of things. Please don't call. My appeal is don't call. There is something major we want to do here. Please don't call. I plead. Don't call. Don't call. You miss. Just wait. Kindly don't call. I'm using the same phone to reach out to who I want. I need to speak to Honorable Makebi Zulu. David from Mongu, cut that line. Thank you very much. I think I've connected. Honorable Makebi Zulu, good evening.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm literally shaking. I'm traumatized from the story I've heard from Honorable Brian Mundubile, and just what has happened to him in the last few hours is extremely traumatizing. I don't know if you were listening.
Yes, I was listening. I'm in tears right now, and I didn't think that we could, as a country, degenerate to these levels over an election. And I thank God that President Mundubile is a patriot, and he's taken time to calm everyone down. Yes, we only have one Zambia, and should these results be in favor of President Mundubile, you obviously wouldn't want to superintend over ashes or indeed put the country on fire. We love this nation. We have worked for responsibility over this nation and not to create enemies. We are not enemies in politics. We are just people competing for responsibility. And because we are competing for responsibility, we should not degenerate to these levels where guns are shot at people. These threats seemed like a joke this whole time we're campaigning, but today they've been proven real. That this time around, it is the military that is taking charge of arresting people. And in fact, one wonders whether the army has got powers of arrest. It's literally an abduction. And it should never be like this in a civilized state. I did post today and said we are for the first time seeing.
When did you learn? When did you learn that that Brian Mundubile was not okay? You were not together at the African Union Commission to meet observer missions.
No, we're not together at that particular time.
Okay.
But the time I intended to reach him, I reached out to someone who was going to meet him, but when they got close to the house, they found a military vehicle that had a lot of military personnel. They found 4 Land Cruisers there and a lot of military personnel at his property. Of course, the military personnel went to question them as to what exactly they were doing in that neighborhood. And for their own safety, of course, they did say that we live around here and went and parked somewhere. And it was in that conversation, in that talk, that they witnessed what was being done and what was happening to President Mundubile and his wife, how that they were being stepped on, how they were bundled and thrown into the car, how that they heard gunshots prior to that. And it's on that information that I did post on my page to say this is what has happened to his wife and to himself, the fact that they were being stepped on. Of course, we didn't want to be graphic in the exposure because we were frantically looking for him, trying to find exactly where he is. And the next thing was that statement that was saying, I'm being interrogated in the barracks. That is not the language of President Mundubile, and we knew that there was something wrong. And President Mundubile would never attend an interrogation without a lawyer. And he knows very well that that was possibly just put there to try and calm the situation, or indeed to assure people that he was okay. But as a matter of fact, he was not okay from the description, the graphic description that were given. We are not going to put our country on fire. We should not even entertain the idea of putting the country on fire. We need to pray for this nation. We need healing in this nation. We need God to intervene right about now, because the levels that we have gotten to are unprecedented. Never for the life of me did I think that the military would be superintending over elections. In Fulira, they took over a totaling center. They've been moving around as though it's a war zone. This is not a war zone. We've had elections before, and the level of intimidation was never to this extent. But if it takes for us to sacrifice for our country to have hope again, President Mundubile and I are ready. And I hear that they have indicated that they are looking for me. I can guarantee them that I'm around, I'm available. If they need me, even as early as now, I'm willing to go there so that we have an interaction with them. They say what exactly they want, and we answer if at all there are any things to be answered. If they want us tomorrow, let them say so.
Yeah, what would be the message to the Zambian people? You are, Brian Mundubile is a leading candidate in this election. You as running mate, and the announcement that was made in the day by Honorable Brian Mundubile, recognizing that the parallel voter tabulation had indicated that they had won the elections. What would be your message to the millions that are listening, to the Zambians that voted for Brian Mundubile and yourself because you are a ticket? What would be your message?
See, the message is very plain and clear. Don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. For as long as God is on the throne, no one has a right over anyone's life. And for as long as God is on the throne, one day, if not soon, Zambia will be free again. What we have been subjected to over the last few years, and particularly over this period, is degrading and it's inhumane. And no human being should have to suffer that. If it has to take for us to be the last ones to suffer in this manner, we are willing to do so. Even if we suffer this much, at the moment when we are declared to have won this election, it will not be a governance of vengeance. It's a very painful period. And we want to assure the Zambian people that we are ready to lead. And being ready to lead, even President Hakainde Hichilema should not feel bad or feel as though we'll get into government for vengeance. Ours is for reconciliation. Ours is for forgiveness. What we call for now is that, please, release Honorable Kafwaya. Allow him to access his family. Allow him to access medical attention. All those others that were with them, if there's any that's injured, if they have been put in custody anyway, please may they be in lawful custody and be able to be reachable, the lawyers to reach them, the families to reach them. That is what our forefathers fought for, so that we can have independence, so that we can have a constitution that guarantees the rights of every person. What happened to Honorable Brian Mundubile and the family, as well as those that were with him, is inhuman and degrading, something that our constitution frowns upon. It is a breach of the constitution by our institutions of governance. Let us not save individuals. Let us save the republic. Let us save the Zambian people. Let us be a country that follows the law, the rule of law and not men. Not to satisfy the ego of any person who may be afraid of losing power, but to do what is right. We are available at any given time. If you ask President Mundubile to come to any facility for questioning, he will certainly be there. He has never defied any order or call out. And we are not about to start now. We'll make ourselves available at any given time without having to run away from our own homes or indeed being pulled out of a hole like a rat. We will not subject ourselves to that. Neither are we willing to subject any other person to that kind of treatment. Let us reconcile. Let us have peace. Let us have unity as one Zambia and one nation.
Honorable Makebe Zulu, thank you very much, and thank you for quickly responding to us. Please let us discuss offline for the emergency issues that we need to deal with.